I just want to talk about the charismatic movement today and just share my thoughts about the charismatic movement, what I think about the charismatic movement. I think the charismatic movement came out of the old Pentecostal movement, and I think that the charismatic movement did bring some kind of spiritual life to Western churches. There was definitely a needed emphasis on team ministry that had been lost, because the Reform movement emphasized the one-man ministry of preaching, and the charismatic movement, I'm talking in the UK now, came along and emphasized team ministry, that everybody has a gift. And I think that that is a right emphasis, that everybody in the church has a gift, that everybody in the church is important. And I think that was a good thing in the charismatic movement. Also, there was a great emphasis by the charismatic movement on the work of the Holy Spirit. And I think as you look at the history of the church, whenever the Holy Spirit is taught, the church grows. God blesses the emphasis on the Holy Spirit. However, those were the good points, and I think also more inclusiveness and openness to other people of different backgrounds. Those were the strengths of the charismatic movement. But I think there have been weaknesses of the charismatic movement, and weaknesses now. An overemphasis on experience rather than on biblical doctrine. There's been abuses of power where people are indulging in spiritual abuse in house churches, where leaders have become too controlling, and where leaders are manipulative in the church meetings. I think that things have gone really dangerous with an emphasis that you need to speak in tongues to be saved. A desire for the spectacular rather than just the simplicity of the gospel. And the infiltration of false preachers, faith healing ministers and preachers who are more in it for money, which I'll talk about in another video. And so there has been a lot of bad things as well that have come out of the charismatic movement. The Toronto blessing was terrible. People indulging in laughing and in services like silly people rolling over. These are not of God, and there's quite definitely a lot of things that have happened over the last 30 years in the charismatic movement that were just not of God, such as the falling over with laughter, such as the Toronto blessing and the making of chicken noises in services, and saying that people have had their teeth healed and they've got gold teeth. These are just not of God. But like I said, there were some good points in the early charismatic movement about the emphasis on the Holy Spirit, the emphasis on team leadership and team. Everybody's got a gift in the church. But there is a lot of confusion and a lot of dangerous teaching now running riot within the new forms of the charismatic movement today. And you have to be very discerning about that. And we're going to talk about the prosperity gospel in the next video. But those are my thoughts about the charismatic movement. Alright? Take care now.